Hi everyone, my name is Rod Jans and you're listening to the Get Inspired Talks podcast. For this episode of the Get Inspired Talks podcast, we visit with Jordan Bateman. Jordan is the communications director for the Independent Contractors and Business Association, or ICBA. At the ICBA, he helps to implement substantial public policy changes. Jordan likes the Green Bay Packers, the Vancouver Canucks, his kids, Nando's, Red Starburst, and Friday Night Lights. He dislikes Nanaimo bars, yellow Starburst, and shows about people buying or fixing up houses. If you enjoy the Get Inspired Talks podcast, please make sure you leave a rating and a review on whatever platform you're listening on. That's the best way you can help us help others find the show. Now please help me welcome Jordan Bateman to the Get Inspired Talks podcast.
We knew that if one city, if Vancouver got a municipal sales tax, that we would see it pop up in Calgary, in Edmonton, in Toronto, in Montreal, all the way across the country, and that people would be paying these taxes for years and years to come because they would never ever be eliminated once they were in place. So for us, it was really important to get out there. I'm not kidding when I said I was really the only one. When the first poll came out in December of 2014, the day they announced the plan had 57 to 43% support. The yes side was in the lead by 14 points, but we just felt we had an opportunity to weigh in, to kind of make the case. We didn't want to go down without swinging, and so we made the case as best we could. And I became the spokesperson, and then a friend of mine named Hamish Marshall, who's gone on to do a lot of work in federal politics since then. Hamish was the campaign manager, and the dynamic was pretty simple. I was the Captain Kirk blasting the phasers away. He was the very logical Mr. Spock in the background, really making sure the ship ran okay. In any referendum, so the entire population got to vote on this particular tax. In any referendum, there is the media want to be fair. If they're quoting the yes side, they want to find someone from the no side to talk to. But we really went all out. We had to earn media because with a $40,000 budget and also no access to voters lists, the other side were city halls. They all had access to every voter's information in the Lower Mainland. We didn't have any of that, so we really had to be creative. What we did is a number of, frankly, media stunts in order to try to give the media interesting things to report about. So we came out hot. They announced their plan very late December 2014. We came out January 1st, 2015 with a freedom of information request that talked about fare evasion. It turned out their own bus drivers had tracked nearly 3 million cases of fare evasion on buses. We came out 2 days after that with a calendar, this being the first week of January. It was a calendar we had made, and we had printed a couple hundred copies. And each month had a different famous transit waste story, Translink waste story. And what we did is we made sure that the mayors who are now supporting this tax increase, we used their own words to condemn those wastes that we had uncovered over the years. So we put that out. The media went crazy for that. We were just relentless, stuck on message as best we could, and just continue to do crazy things until finally it broke through with the public, and we saw them really pick up the torch, and the average Joe became even more important in our media strategy.
One of the things we want to do with Get Inspired Talks and with the podcast is to inspire people to take action. So what are maybe a couple lessons that you learned that you can share with us? Maybe someone's tempted to take on Goliath. Yeah. What advice would you give them?
Well, the thing I learned from Hamish in this campaign, and it's something I'm very grateful for because I've used it in every campaign that I've run since then, is to have a sword message and a shield message. The sword message is kind of your offensive message and advocacy. This is what we want to see happen. This is what we want in the public's mind when they think about this issue. For Translink, Translink wasted too much of our money to be trusted with any more of it. I said that line in every interview, 600 interviews over 5 months to make the case. And sure enough, the day voting opened, the front page of the Vancouver Province newspaper was voting against Translink. That was the headline. I shifted it from being about this tax to being about the tax for this specific agency. So you've got to have that sharp sword message, and almost like a tape recorder in your head that you go back to it. If you don't know what to say in an interview, you don't know what to say in an advocacy situation, go back to that single sentence in your head and figure out what you can say that bridges back to that message. And then the other part of it is, in advocacy, you're usually not fighting fighting thin air, usually there's an opponent. So you have to have a shield message as well, something you can defend against their sword message, something you can use hopefully to turn into your offensive message. For us, it was a plan. We had put out a 60-page accountant written plan talking about a different way to fund transit rather than using this particular tax. We called it the better plan, and I referenced that in many interviews as well when people would say, well, what's your plan for funding transit then if you don't want this tax? And I was able to use that shield message. So just thinking in that kind of terms, right? If in advocacy, I think in the world today, we talk a lot about collaboration, but advocacy still is very much, it's an us versus them. There's an idea that you want change, and to do that, you're going to have to engage it in some way. Make sure you have your sword and make sure you have your shield. Trust me, the battle goes a lot better with both.
That's really good. And in your case too, I could see that question coming up a lot. Okay, no. And I know the opposition use that against you. It's like, if we don't have this money, then we're screwed.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you're anti-transit. I would get a lot. And I say, no, I'm not anti-transit. I fund it through this.
Yeah.
That was a great way to kind of glance off that blow and get back to your message.
I don't know if you have any sort of call to action or if you want people to get in touch with you, but in case you do, how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, you can, for the ICBA, you can follow us. Our website's icba.ca, and you can see all sorts of the kind of stuff we do there. We do public policy advocacy at ICBA. We also do training for construction. We also have a big benefits company that protects workers, which is kind of it's the secret of ICBA. People don't realize that we do that sort of thing, but it's actually the thing that we're very passionate about, is making sure that our workers have the proper benefits and the pension plans going forward. Yeah, no, I'm trying to think what else is happening. You can follow me on Twitter at Jordan Bateman, and if you're mean to me, I'll mute you. But if you're nice, then we can have a conversation. You can soon be deluged with my Aaron Rodgers hero worship as the great Packers go for our 14th World Championship, and this our 100th.
Oh, is it the 100th year? That's great. Good stuff.
It's good to be a Packer fan.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks again, Jordan.
Thanks for having me, Rod.